Hello. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Super duper. I'll just give it a couple of minutes for everyone to join.
Yes, I can hear.
That's the bailiff.
Right.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so I'm going to, I will be using the webcam because I will be sharing my screen. There'll be lots of things to see on the screen that are more important than I am. So far I've got Helen, Jackie,
Yes.
Tessa, Yvonne,
Yeah.
Hi.
Lisa, Manda, and Amanda, just to make it interesting.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Ellen.
Hello.
Hi, everyone's really quiet. So, there's a storm quieting down where you all are. Has a storm quieting down where everyone is?
Yeah.
Good. All right. What I'll do is once I start the presentation, I'll put everybody on mute because sometimes we get different discussions going on with family in the background or whatever. And I will be recording. I was supposed to just burn all the lights out. I'm in the dark. I will be recording it, so if everyone's okay with that, and then we can share it to those people who couldn't make it tonight. Oh, great! You've all got the hang of the chat as well. I'm really impressed. So, apologies with a bit of a challenge with the map. So, you may know, if you've been following me on Facebook, that I'm currently laid up with a broken leg. So on the 19th of January, I made a planned but not good dismount for my horse, and ended up with a tibial plateau fracture, which is not good. So I was devastated because I had to cancel one of my first training camp of the season, which was at Somerford Park in Cheshire. I hate letting people down, but it was just not going to happen. So I decided to go ahead with tonight's training because my hands work and my mouth works, and I've got my map, so we can carry on. So some of you will have sent in a stamped addressed envelope, and I have sent back maps for those that sent an envelope. Some of you messaged today to say that your maps have not arrived, so I apologise for that, for them not getting to you in time. I have hopefully you've seen the message that I have uploaded 2 PDF files onto the Learning Zone.
Okay, so I can see.
Mhm.
And I have made the post open to non-members. I've made the post open to non-members so that everyone can access the PDF files, so you can download them. Now, they come with a word of warning and caveat
How do you see Julia?
that when I've had problems in the past when I've printed a PDF map, that it's not come out to scale, and it's fractionally.
Oh,
So if you print the maps out, they will be okay for copying a route. But I would, if I was you, I'd double check that the grid lines, so the blue grid lines on the map, are actually 4 centimetres long, and if they are, then you're okay for doing the grid references. So it's just a word of warning. The ones that I've sent to you by post are absolutely perfect, which is why I ask for stamped address envelopes and send you the map. So it's just a word of warning. So if you've got the maps by post, that's fantastic. If you haven't and you've printed them, that is good for the copying the routes. It will be okay. And if not, you can still send me a stamped addressed envelope. If you do it in the next day or two, I'll send you this this set of maps. If you send it after that, I might get confused and send you the next set of maps. So pop a note in there for which date of training it's for. Okay, so let's go. I'm trying to find manage mute. So I'm going to put everybody on mute. And then I am going to share my screen. You can see the chat flashing away. Yay, I'm really impressed. Share. Okay. So what am I going to share first? I'm going to share, so some of you will have seen this before. So this is the Learning Zone that you'll see me mention quite often. So this is on my website, and it is what it says on the tin. It's a Learning Zone. Now I am building up the modules, or whatever you want to call them, in there. There are primarily Trek related training, and I've had a bit of a tidy up, so I've got the Trek information and tips together. I've got Trek training. Pole work exercises is a new one that I set up. There's some really good pole work exercises. I've got to build some more, put some exercise in there. The one that I've been focusing on the last week, I had a few questions from some of the people that I coach and train Trek, and it is around your 2020 goals. So if you're a member, you'll have access to this, and you will be able to see different things here, what's going well, living your dream, some goal setting resources, and also the benefit of the Learning Zone is you can go in and ask questions. So please do use that resource. It's all part of your membership. What you will also find in here as members is a recording of previous training exercises. So under Trek training, you will find we've had map and compass training, we've had map room before, and we've also had Helen's fabulous staying in balance whilst riding PTV obstacles or anything else. Trek for the Curious, which was Jackie Kedward talking about Trek, all you need to know about Trek. And New Year's resolution, setting goals with Tracy Cole. So all of those are available to watch at your leisure. Okay, so that's just a little bit about the learning zone and building up the things that I've got in there. So tonight we are going to look at this one here, which has been very busy today. So I published everything in here, made this public so that everyone could see. 2 maps, bring to the training tonight. You're all here, so you found the link to join the Zoom meeting. And then the 2 maps, which I finally got the right to uploaded, which is the master map and the blank map. So let's go to can you see my screen? Can you see a map on your screen?
No, I can't.
Let's share.
No, Julia, I can't either.
Okay. Because I shared.
Yes, got it now.
Super.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you that have got the map in some shape or form, so the route that we're going to look at tonight is, I will stress it's a non-riding route. So this is one that I created to test your accuracy of copying a route. So let me just open. There we go. So I'll zoom in a little bit. So I love online maps, this online map, because you can zoom in. If only we could ride with a copy of this and zoom in when you're doing a trek competition, it'd be wonderful. So the route that I've chosen for tonight's training is actually about 30 kilometres. So from a map room perspective, that is about, it would be about 15 minutes to copy the route. It's equivalent to a level 3. Now, I know some of you asked before the night saying, oh, we're only newcomers, we've only done level 1. Is it okay? And my answer to that is yes, it's definitely okay. And the reason being is, in the map room, all you have to do is copy the master map onto your onto your blank map. So if you imagine you go to the pub and you go into the pub quiz, and at the beginning of the quiz master says, there's the answers to all the questions. I want you to write them down, and then I'm going to take them off you in 5 minutes, and then we'll have the quiz. So when you go into the map room, but for any of you that are going to be going out competing this year, I want you to think about that, what I've just said, when you are waiting to go in the map room, and those nerves set in and the butterflies go, oh, I can't do this, or oh, I'm no good at doing this, or oh, I want you to stop and think, wow, this is really cool. We're going to get all the answers to this POR, and all I have to do is copy them onto the map, and I've got all the answers. And by doing that, you'll calm your mind, you'll become more focused, and you will copy the map more accurately and more confidently. So that's one of my top tips for the map room. So what we've got on the screen, scroll down here, is we've got the starting point, which is at Brandy House over here. So some of you will be joining me at Brandy House in April, and as I say, this whole route is not rideable. Some of it is, so you won't be able to ride this particular one, but I've got a whole portfolio of routes at Brandy House. So when you go into the map room, you'll be given as I say, a copy of the route and a blank maps that go with it. Now, for a level 1, I'll pretty much guarantee they will be on one piece of A4. So you'll have one piece, one A4 with the route on and a blank A4. For level 2, quite often, or more often than not, it'll be on one piece of A4. Sometimes it will go on to 2. And that's where it starts to get a little bit more complicated in the map room, because you've got you're going to have an overlap between the 2 maps. As you go up the levels, you also, depending on who's created the maps for the competition, you start to move on to A3 maps. So you might find that a level 2 is on an A3 map, which is nice and kind because it avoids the 2 maps and the overlap. So we've got the route here. So you go into the map room and you sit down, you've got your pen and your compass and everything ready. So one of the things that you must do or should do before you go into the map room is to find out where north is. So for those of you that have been on my Compass Basics training, you would use your compass to find out where north is so that you know when you go out of the map room where you're heading. And the reason that you will know where you're heading is your compass will be pointing north, and the top of your map, when the writing is the right way up, the top of the map is always north. So if we look at this and we're at Brandy House, we are heading just slightly west of north. So if you come out of the map room, you've got your compass, you're going to be going in the right direction. And I think that's probably one of the hardest bits about riding a POR, is getting out of the map room and setting off in the right direction. I know lots of people, and very experienced people, who have ridden a route in reverse. And I know lots of people that have gone out in kind of 180 degrees, and so they've got the compass the wrong way, the north and the south. So using a compass is something that I recommend, that if you are going to compete, you dust your compass off and you start using it now, and you take it out on your ride at home and use it, because the more you use it, and I love Helen's word of repetitions, the more that you use your compass and it becomes second nature, that it just happens. Whereas if you get to a competition and you get your compass out and go, oh, how do I do this now? Then you've got one more thing to concentrate on. So you sat down at your, so you're given a somewhere flat to copy your map in the map room, and you will provide your own pens. And I recommend that you have your torch, which is a piece of mandatory equipment. I recommend that you have a head torch. And if you only use it in the map room, then quite often you're very unlikely to need to use it out on the POR. But in the map room, it can be a very useful tool, because the light is not guaranteed to be great in a map room. So you could be in a barn, you could be somewhere where there's no proper lights, you could be somewhere where there's a shadow. So I definitely recommend getting a head torch in your trek kit. So you'll get your pen, and then you will start to copy this route onto your blank map. Now you'll find that most routes will have a little triangle at the start. Not got one on here because Anquet doesn't do that. That's kind of a trek thing. So you'll quite often find. You'll also find that some don't. So if you are copying the route and you can't find the start, don't worry, don't bother. Just start copying wherever you are. So if you've got this map and the first bit of the route that you can see is here, just start drawing it. I would suggest that you draw it in the right direction. So you've got arrows, you're going to have arrows on the map. And again, depending on who is the tracer for the route, whoever's drawn the maps, will vary as to how they draw how many arrows they put on there. But it must have arrows on for the direction. So find anywhere on the map and start drawing your route. Don't waste time trying to find the start, because somewhere along that route you will get to the start. I suggest that you draw in the direction of the arrow, because you are you're telling your brain that's the direction you're going. If you draw it in reverse, there is more risk that you will ride it in reverse because you've just drawn it that way. So find a point wherever it is and start drawing the map. Make sure you put the arrows on. Now your arrows don't have to be in the same place as the master map. It's entirely up to you where you put your arrows, how you put them on, etc., etc. So you'll draw your route. So in this case, if I was here, I'd draw that bit and then I'd come around here and go, oh, right, I found the start. Right, I'll go round and copy all this bit here. So if you draw the route and you find that you've still got time left, the first thing I will do is check the route. So you remember the scenario, you're in the pub with the answers to the pub quiz. Yeah. So you use that time. You can't leave the map room till your time slot is up. So you check your route. It's the only time that you're going to have the answers to the quiz. So check your route. If you check your route and you've still got time, then there's a couple of other things that you can do. You can mark the 1 kilometre marks onto your map. Now, if you're level 1, I would recommend that you don't bother about distance and you just ride and you don't worry about the speed. I would just ride the land as you get it. So if you've got a bit of grass, you can have a bit of a trot. If you're on downhill, it'll be walk. And the tracer should have calculated the speeds to match the lay of the land. So for level 1, I wouldn't worry about speeds at all. For level 2 upwards, if you mark your 1 kilometre markings on your map, you can then use those to calculate your speeds and where you should be in a given time. Now that in itself is a whole separate session, which we can cover. We've got 2 more sessions in March. We can cover that specifically in one of the sessions in March. What I'll do is I'll send out and we can have a vote as to who wants to do what. The other thing to do, if you've still got time in the map room, is to note what I call any tricky bits. Now, tricky bits are what I call where you might have to go a particular way down a hedge line, or say, for example, this bit here. You can see that the route takes you off the road, round a field and back onto a road. Now, what I do, and there's all sorts of little tips that you'll come across when you talk to different people. What I do is I put a big circle in there in a different coloured pen. And that means that as I'm approaching there and my mind sees a circle, it says, right, you need to focus here. There's something tricky coming up. The reason it's a different colour, because believe it or not, in the past, I have tried to ride that circle because I drew it in the same colour as my route. And that lost me about 30 minutes. And I suddenly realised that I was trying to ride my circle and not my route. So, so keep your favourite pens. I would recommend having a pink and an orange. Sometimes, depending on how many features there are on the map and how many contour lines there are, you might decide pink is better than orange or orange is better than pink. Those are the 2 colours that I use the most. But I would also have another pen, be it blue or purple or green or whatever, that you can use as your kind of warning signs here. I've also got a lady who rides at level 3, who actually writes little notes to herself on here. She's very, very neat, but she's very good at writing notes. And that is if you've got time to do things like that, it is useful because you're looking at this and you go, oh yeah, I remember that. Now I guarantee something that you just say to yourself, especially if you've got a 50-odd-year-old brain like mine, you go, oh yeah, I remember that. When you get to that point, which might be 2 hours down the line, and it's freezing cold and it's raining and your horse is deciding to have a little bit of a jog, you ain't going to remember it. So you can write on here. It's your map to do whatever you want. So I'm going to come off mute if I can find the right button. And bear with me a minute. Unmute. Okay, right. Unmute. So I'll pause there for a second and see if anybody has got any questions.
Julia,
Yep.
can I just ask you, like before, you know where your arrows are? Are they 1 kilometre apart? Have you done it to help us? Again?
Oh, Mandy, you were well spotted. So for training, and in this example here, exactly as Mandy has spotted, my arrows are 1 kilometre. So it's a lovely feature of Anklet, but it's also very good for training because it gets your eye in. And what you'll find, the more that you copy maps and you practice putting those markers on there, you'll get a feel for that 1 kilometre. So well spotted, Mandy.
Do you do that as you're drawing the route?
I put the arrows on as I'm drawing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll say a lot of the things when you ask me, I'll say I do this because there are somebody might say, oh, I don't. I draw the route and then I put the arrows on afterwards. It's what works for you.
Yeah.
So what I said in one of my emails was photocopy the blank maps and have a practice. Have a practice with different pens. Have a practice drawing the route and then putting your arrows on. Have a practice at starting your route halfway round. Even though it's the same route, you're trying all different things.
Mm.
Julia.
Yeah.
Hiya. I just wondered, if you're doing the ride in pairs, do you do the copying together or do you have to do your own separate one?
Good question. So what you'll do is you'll go into the map room as a pair at the given time and you'll both draw the route. So one of my top tips for pairs is that one of you, so I'm gonna break one of my golden rules only for pairs. One of you will draw the route in the direction that you're going to ride it, and the other one will draw it in reverse. Now, at level 1, that you get quite a lot of time, and it is really achievable to copy your map in the 10 minutes for level 1. As you get up to, I've done a number of level 2s as a pair, where I have run out of time to copy the map. So
Okay.
I know one in particular, which was 2010, was actually up in Saddleworth in Lancashire, and it was 3 maps, and it absolutely blew my brain. And luckily I started with the 3rd map, and I got the 3rd and the 2nd finish. My partner, who was much better at copying routes, had got all 3. But had we both struggled, at least we would have had a full set between us.
Yeah. So you stand a chance of getting it completed if you start one end each.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Thank you.
Obviously, you know, you run that risk that you're drawing it in reverse, but it is a useful tip.
Great. Lovely. Thank you.
Any more questions? Okay.
Julia, on the map, sorry, on the map, it's got, I don't know how you pronounce it, LLETHR and then HIR and the sort of central lower bit. And you come along and you're on the right-hand side of the fence line, and then you get to the bit just beneath that, the top of the hill. And the pink line goes exactly on top of the field boundary. Now, presumably I can't ride on the hedge or the fence. So how do I know which side of that I'm supposed to be?
Okay, Give me an idea where you are, because I'm trying to work out.
Sort of central of your page and the bottom in the bottom central
here.
square. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
there.
Exactly there. Right, let me zoom in. So this is a good question. So this is probably a case of not so brilliant route drawing. So what I'm going to do, I can say I did that on purpose, can't I? To that question. Actually, let's have a look. That's on a lane. Okay, so in this case, yeah. So in this case, that is okay because that.
Okay.
What's underneath? Ah, right. It comes out
See
of
the
the field.
Tweet.
Yeah, yeah. So there, you're in. Let me just. Right. There, you're in the field, and then you come onto a lane. So
Okay. Yeah.
come down on the right of the fence line, and then you're going to have a gate here, or unless
Okay.
it's open, and then you're going to be on. Then you're going onto a track. So here, you would have a fence or a hedge or something on your right,
Yeah.
and then the dotted,
Okay.
the dotted line implies that that's some kind of track, but with no fence on the left.
Yeah.
And then coming down here, I mean, it's quite interesting, the shape here of the path, but then it comes into a yellow road.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah. Good question.
Julia,
Yeah.
I have a tip on that actually. When I'm drawing a map and it is close like that, like you said about writing notes, I will actually write south or north next to it so I know which side of the hedge I'm meant to be on.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I also have a tip too, because I take a looking glass in the map room with me. I have a little one that I take with me, and I look on the map, and then I put an arrow to which side of the fence I need to be. So when I get there, that I just know that I need to be on the arrow side.
Yeah, love it. I hadn't heard that one, and this is what you'll find the more training sessions that you go to like this, or training camps, or even competitions, because you'll find if you've not done a competition, you'll find that trekkies are really, really friendly, and they will share their tips. So even at a competition, you'll find people will share. If you go and volunteer at a competition, I love doing the map room. I have learnt so much from judging in the map room that you'll just come away spending a day, being a map room steward. It's just brilliant.
Julia,
Hmm.
am I right in saying each millimetre is 25 metres? Is that correct?
So if you work out, 4 centimetres is a kilometre. So on the 1 in 25,000 map, which is this one, so from here, so the grid line from here to here on your map is 4 centimetres. So that is a kilometre. So 2 centimetres is half a kilometre. 1 centimetre is 250 metres. So what I have in my map case, I have a little table that breaks down. So you get down 1 centimetre is 250 metres. So 0.1 of a centimetre is 25 metres. Yeah.
The reason why I was saying is that surely the width of the pen, if it's a millimetre, you're going to be there or thereabouts, aren't you? You're not going to be spot on. There has to be a certain amount of allowance for the width of the pen that the master's been drawn in.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why your route should never, like we thought this one might have been on the fence line. You should never get a route that is on the fence line, because you wouldn't know which side to go. It should clearly be on the left or the right.
Right. Good thing. Yes. Yeah.
Julia?
Yep.
Hi,
Fiona.
question.
Yep.
how do, sorry, let me rephrase this. How can you be sure your map is 1 in 25,000 and not a different scale?
It will normally, have a look at the ones that I've sent out that I've printed. It will normally say on the map, 1 in 25,000. However, it's dead easy because of this, your grid lines here will be 4 centimetres. So the first thing you can do is measure with your, so on your compass,
Yeah.
you'll have some kind of measuring, be it in millimetres or whatever. You can measure that. Now, I'm going to say level 1. I'd be shocked if they didn't give you, if they gave you something other than 1 in 25,000. Even level 2, they might just throw some little test in there. Level 3 and 4, yeah, I can understand them using different scales. But for level 1, you're 99.9% sure you're going to get 1 in 25,000. If you are riding at a higher level, so 2A or 3, I would never worry about the scale because whatever grid lines you've got gives you your scale. So I know there's Harvey's maps, which are a strange scale, which I can't remember off the top of my head. But all you need to know is that distance there, so say that was 3 centimetres, is a kilometre. So if you,
Okay.
some people use like a piece of string. So if you were, we can cover this in another session with where we talk about speeds and distances. So if your edge of your grid was 3 centimetres, then you say, okay, every 3 centimetres is a kilometre. So you can quite easily, you know, with maybe just put, if you use a piece of string, you can put your fingers on a bit of string. Another tip that I found really, really useful, and it's amazing how accurate it is. The width of your thumb is about half a kilometre. Now, and this is, I love it, as a rule of thumb, if you go round with your thumb sideways on the route, it is roughly half a kilometre. And somebody told me that last year, and I was gobsmacked that is a really easy way to roughly measure.
Clever.
Yeah.
It is as well. My thumb width is exactly 2 centimetres wide.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
That's really cool. I like that.
That is really, really cool. But I was amazed when I've done this in a face-to-face training that most ladies, even if they've got thin, like slim thumbs or fat thumbs, they still tend to be roundabout. I mean, I suppose if you've got a slim thumb, you can just squash it down a bit, that you know what that 2 centimetres is. I did become a bit too obsessed with cutting the end of one of my fingernails, my forefinger. If I cut it square at the end, that was a centimetre. I decided that I was getting too obsessed.
I love it.
Yeah. But
I'm going to be measuring all my fingers now.
But yeah, lots of little tips that are really useful.
Yeah.
Right. So what we can do, we've got time. If you've got a copy of the master map and blank maps, I can set a timer going for 15 minutes if you want to give it a go.
Yeah. And mine.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes. Rather than, and I think I put this in the instructions, I want you to think what's the best quality you can copy this route, rather than I've got 15 minutes to finish it, because what I want you to practice between now and your next competition is how well can I draw this route. So I don't care if you don't finish drawing the route in 15 minutes. I want to see how well you do it. So you start to build your brain into quality rather than speed.
So Julia,
Mm-hmm.
so not all of the route is on our master map. So we're just drawing the bit that we can see.
It should be. There should be 2 pieces. So.
Yeah, it joins together.
Pardon?
It joins together. You've got 82 and then it goes to 83. It joins together.
I've got the two 2 blank ones, but I only had just the one single piece of the master map.
I had some. Right, I'll fix that later.
Yeah, don't worry.
I have-
I'll just copy the bit that I've got.
Copy the bit you've got and go
Yeah.
by 7.5 minutes thereabout. I had some
Okay.
technical issues with getting the PDF to work today, so
Yeah.
I'll fix that and upload it to the Learning Zone.
Okay. Yeah,
So
no problem.
I'll set my timer going. I'll give you a warning at 7.5 minutes, so you know if you've only got half a map, and then I'll let you know 2 minutes before the end of 15.
Julian, I'm going to excuse myself because my horse has just come back from hunting and I've got to go out to sort him out.
Okie dokie, no problem.
I've done my map. I've drawn it anyway.
Super.
So I did that earlier on today.
Okay.
So I look forward to the next session.
Yeah. So we've got Tots joining us on the 20th. For getting your horse fit and what to expect with the health checks on the POR. And then I've got 2 dates for March, which will be, let me just look at my diary and I'll put them up on the website after this one's finished. It's going to be the 10th, Tuesday the 10th and Tuesday the 24th of March. So they'll be the end of the winter series training. So what I'll do is I'll send out a message to members and have a vote on what people want. Do you want another route, or do you want a space session on speeds and times? Do you want another session on compasses? However, you've got the recording for compasses, so you can always go back to that one. So I'll have a bit of a poll and see what everyone wants to do.
Great. Thanks very much, Julia. See you, ladies. Good luck.
Bye. Bye, Monday.
Get well soon. Get well soon, Julia.
Oh, thank you.
Ta-da. Bye.
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 I'm going to excuse myself, Julia, because I haven't got a map at all.
Oh, bless you. Nikki, yours is definitely in the post, and I apologise for it not arriving on time.
Okay, don't worry. I was working this evening, so I've not had a chance to download those PDFs either. But never mind, I'll do it when I get my map.
When you get the map, and then if you want anyone who there's also a grid. There's quite a substantial exercise on the Learning Zone with calculating distances. So once you've drawn the route, you can go back and do the plotting the grids and stuff as well. So let me know that you do get, if you do get your maps, Nikki, and I'll fix the other one that's only showing half a route.
Yeah. Okay, see you soon.
Thanks. Bye, Nikki.
Bye.
Julia?
Yeah?
Oh, it's Dot. My maps are still in the post as well, I think.
They probably are. I definitely posted yours.
I'm going to catch up on the Learning Zone, if that's okay.
That's brilliant. No problem.
Okay. All right then. Thanks very much.
And give me a shout if you've got any questions. You can post messages and whatever. All right. Bye.
Julia, can I ask you a question?
Mm.
Can you get disqualified in the map room?
Oh, right. Let me think. My initial thought. Well, yeah, you get eliminated for cheating. Yeah, I think you get.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. Other than cheating.
So the disqualified. I don't think there's very much that you can. However, if you run out of time in the map room, you can take extra. You can take extra time and you get penalties. Now, it's kind of a no-brainer because there's no point setting off on a route that you haven't got the whole route copied.
No.
You know, and I also, one of my fabulous mistakes that I made when I did a couple of competitions on my own, and I don't like doing them on my own. I much prefer riding as a pair. But I actually didn't finish. I thought I'd finish the route, I'd take an extra time. It was a really tricky route to copy. I'd take an extra time, and in the extra time, they kept saying every minute, they kept saying to me, another minute, and I was
They're
so
putting
distracted.
pressure on.
Yeah, so you'll feel that pressure. And then I sort of went, right, I'm done. And I didn't realise till I got to a checkpoint and I went down the road, and then I looked at my map and went, I've run out of route.
Oh, no.
So I guess the learning experience for me was, the only really learning was to stay calm under pressure, which is not easy.
Easy to say.
Because if you do get a tricky map and you're not got a tremendous amount of experience, it is going to take you a while. So that is something that you could practice, you know, at one of our camps, or even on this, you know, like us talking now, there's people copying the route that probably thinking, well, you shut up. But it's a good thing to do because you switch off. And I think, I mean, that was about, it was probably about 8 years ago, and the skills that I've now got, I could turn off now and just ignore them and think, I'm copying my route, you can shut up, and I'll be leaving when I've finished.
Yeah, it's just having that experience, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think the answer is pretty much no.
No, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, go on.
I was going to say another time-saving tip is, you know, when you're driving, you carry straight on until you turn. You miss all the other turnings. It's like when you're on the long ways, the bridle ways there, or the walking ways, or whatever they are. Just put an arrow in the direction you're going, rather than drawing it in full, because you know you're on that straight bit until you need to turn off.
Yeah, quite a few people. Yeah,
I don't know whether that's quite clear or not, but I find it quite easier.
Yeah, I actually tried that one, and it really doesn't work for me. My brain, it's a good tip, and a lot of people do it, but it just didn't work for me. My brain is so heavily reliant on the line, but it's still a good tip. Another tip that I came across last year from the level 3, which I've never seen from anybody, they draw the route in a fine pen, which, you know, you need that fine pen to make sure you're in the right place. But they also went over the whole route with a highlighter, so at a glance, if it's straightforward, it's really easy to see, and I thought that was a really good idea. Yeah, and I actually think that might, if I was competing again, I think that might work for me, that I'd draw it in a fat highlighter, because I smile because I've always said you never use a fat highlighter, that just doesn't belong in a trek kit. However, I think it would work for me that I drew the route in a fat highlighter, and then only the tricky bits I drew in a fine one.
Right.
Yeah. But it's
worth having a play around with, isn't it?
Having a play around, yeah.
Julie, what I'm noticing is once you start putting your route onto the map, you lose the fact that whether it's a bridleway or a lane, so you're losing some of your landmarks.
Yeah.
That's down to your pen, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's partly down to your pen. So trial and error with pens, and when you see me next and I've got my box of pens, have a play with different ones. And the other thing is that a compromise between, that's where Jen's suggestion of only putting the arrows on really works, because you don't obliterate the path. A compromise is a dashed, so I am going to try a long dash as opposed to just the arrows.
Yeah, because I'm looking at this now and I'm thinking, if I was coming to ride it, I've lost the distinguishing fact that I'm coming off the road onto a bridleway.
Yeah.
I've just used a new pen for the first time, and actually it's quite good. It's an orange one, but it makes, it turns the road orange, but everything else I can still see the you know, see underneath.
Yeah.
That whether it's a bridleway or whatever.
Your,
Mm.
your bridleways are green, right? So I think it loses your road and your back and your unadopted roads, isn't it?
Mm.
What was that, Fiona? You use green?
I'm using orange, and I
Mm.
can see that on some of them. You have the road that's yellow and the road that's white. I can't remember the difference between the two, but you still see your bridleways and your footpaths because they're all green, aren't they?
Yeah, you can't tell whether it's just a track or whether it's actually a road, a fence. Road. Yeah, and that's what I've done on places like that where it's a long run on a road. I've just put the arrows on so that I don't obliterate it.
Mm.
Julia, could I just ask something?
Mm.
When you're marking your map and you're marking the kilometres at the same time, what are you using?
I wouldn't mark the kilometres at the same time as you're drawing your map.
Right.
Oh,
So, yeah, I would draw your route first and only draw the kilometres if you've got time.
Afterwards, yeah. Okay, that.
Yeah. And what so I have used in the past, I've actually used a pencil, or I've used a black or a blue pen, and I put so you see these arrows that I've got on here, which is an Anquet thing. I use the strike across for my kilometres.
Yeah.
My arrow, and then I wouldn't have that bit. That's just the way Anquet's done it. I'd have a strike across at 90 degrees to the route to mark the kilometres, and then I've put the number in next to it.
Right. Okay. So you don't do it as you're drawing, because that was what was flummoxing me a bit. Yeah.
No, because it will take up your time, and even if you've got time to do it,
that's what I thought.
It will end up confusing, and you'll confuse your brain with the flow of the route.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the problem I've found is because I used to mark the kilometres on the whole map, but actually once you get to a checkpoint it all changes. And then I was just getting really confused because I had so many marks you know, so I've now started I mean, you take a bit of a risk, but now I just tend to sort of do the first maybe 5 or 6 kilometres, and then hope that gets me to the checkpoint, which it usually would, and then I can, at the checkpoint, I can write on the next slot.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Actually,
was that Yvonne?
I was going to ask if anyone had done that, because I was thinking, how can I best make use of my speed and my, because I've only done level 1, so really the distance is consecutive, but going up to level 2, I was wondering about doing it that way.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and it does, because if your checkpoint, which is unlikely to be at a kilometre mark, you would need to start your counting again from that point. So that's a really good point, Yvonne. And there are different ways of working out your speed. So some people work on distance and they mark out the kilometres.
Julia, you've gone.
Yeah, I'm losing.
Oh,
I think Maddie there as well.
Hello. Turn my Wi-Fi off on my phone. My Wi-Fi's just decided it's having a bit of a wobble. Yeah, again, that's another trial and error of working out. Try it at home on a ride that you ride anyway, and then working out your speeds, change speed, and marking it on your map and practicing that. Because as I think it was Yvonne was saying, your checkpoint is probably not going to be bang on a kilometre marking. So you'll have to, if you've marked your whole route with kilometres, then you either need to remark. What I used to do, and I used to like riding as a pair, but one thing I didn't mention before, quite often as a pair you get one who's the lead map reader and the other person is the lead timekeeper. And my job was that in a pair was always a timekeeper. And what I would do is if we got to a checkpoint and then it was say half or a quarter of a kilometre to the next kilometre marking, I would do the maths to get us to that marker. So I'd have the whole course marked in 1 kilometres. So I didn't have to change those. And then I'd get us to, that next marker, that next kilometre marker in whatever it was, 3 minutes. And then I was back on track with my kilometres, which saved a lot of messing. But it's practice and what works for you.
Yeah, I've been marking in centimetres, so so you can imagine if I've put all of them on the whole route and then I have to change it, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but it's accurate though.
Yeah,
it's quite accurate.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons that I started using a pencil, because if I did about say 6 or 8, one of those mechanical, well, whatever, a pencil with a rub at the end, I could rub them out and then put the right one in again.
That's that's a good idea actually. I think I might try that. Yeah.
Julia, it's Joanne.
Oh, that's 15 minutes. Sorry, you've got some fabulous questions that I forgot. I didn't keep my eye on the 7.5 minutes. So that was a full 15. So.
I'd finished since I've been talking, so I was. I'd finished.
Sorry, Julie, it's Joanne.
Hi, Joanne.
Map 1, there's a section on the left-hand side where you come off the main path.
We got. Can you give me a clue where?
Where are we in?
Bryn Coch or Sil?
Yes.
My eyesight's so terrible. Something Hill. On the left-hand side of map 1.
I can see where you are, because I think I was going to ask a similar question.
Yeah, here we go. So you're just coming into shop.
Oh yeah.
So what does that actually look like to ride when you? Is there any markers there, or because I've never
okay, right. The one where it says Bryn Coch, where
so you come off the path and then there's sort of an angle back to the path.
Is that the one where you've got the green dot, where it's on my screen now, where I've got my arrow?
Yeah, that's it.
Right. Okay, that's a really good question, because this bit you can ride. It's beautiful. And this track here is what I actually rode. So it's a really good question actually. So you might get a route that looks like this, and as a level 1 you might think, oh, like you probably wouldn't get this as level 1. It's over an open wall. So say level 2, and you look at that and you think, oh my goodness, that's really hard because there's no tracks on there. But what you'll find quite often, particularly at level 2, there are tracks on the ground that are not on the map. So in this case, I know that I followed the track. So when you get there, that would be really easy. If I'd have tried to follow the dotted line, that was really difficult because it didn't exist as a track. Yeah. So it was really, so I'm riding round, kind of halfway round the first hill and onto the second, and then quite a decent drop. I mean, this was just stunning to ride with the quarry down here. Yeah, you wouldn't want to be riding that in the mist and rain, but it is absolutely beautiful.
Okay,
do you know what you can do? You can go onto Bing Maps and get this area up, and then go it onto aerial view and have a quick look at that just out if you're interested, just so that you can see.
Oh, okay.
Julia, it's Ellen. Is there a clue when you're going to copy this down onto, you're in the map room and you copy this down, and it's the first time you've actually left an official track? How do you know you're copying the right route down? Is there a clue of what you do? Because you could be deviating off where it says. How do you know you've got your line in the right place? No sort of landmark to follow.
That is so nobody. The stewards won't check that you've copied it accurately. So it's down to you to look at the master map and look at yours and check that, you know, for example here, that it's taking you through onto the bridleway. Is that what you're asking me? So,
you know, when you go across the hill and you're not following the green dotted path, you're following the pink, we've got to follow the pink line.
Yeah.
How, when you're copying that, so that's assuming that's the master map and I'm copying it now, I'm in the map room. How do I know I've got the correct, because it's very difficult, other than counting the gradient lines, how do you know you're putting your pink line in the right place?
It is visual. So you look at that and you know, that you've got, say, from the second dot down, that it's touching. So in this case, it touches the end of that stream. I'll just zoom in a little bit. So the things that I look for, so I'd copy it from there. It touches the end of the stream there.
Right, yes.
And if you didn't quite, you know, say you got it about there, it wouldn't be the end of the world for level 1. I mean, you wouldn't get this at level 1. You absolutely wouldn't, because this should give you tracks lanes and bridle lanes. But even at level 2, you're not going to be expected to be that accurate that you're bang on there. So you could draw that to there, and then from there you're heading for this dot, which is however many. 1, 2, 3.
It wouldn't be like they were saying about good markers and bad markers and things like that. You wouldn't sort of find markers there and you miss them, sort of thing, because you have drawn it.
On this, if this was a level 2, I would say that this is a true level 3, and your markers would be, I was going to say, you wouldn't, I don't think, and I don't know if Helen's still on the call, I don't think you'd have tickets on there for level 2. You'd be from here through the gate, there's a gate there, and you come out here, and even if you deviated a little bit, at level 2, I don't think that, and I'm saying I don't think because you potentially always going to get the odd really mean TD or course traceur, but you shouldn't on this kind of thing. If I was expecting a level 2 to ride over here, I would not put any tickets on there.
Right.
So I'd let, you know, that's, so I might do, so it's down here, I might put one here, make sure you've got to that point before you turn. And then to navigate that again is definitely, you would need to be able to use your compass and do bearings.
Right.
But again, you wouldn't need that for level 1.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So, any more questions?
Sorry, just one quick one. What do those green dots mean?
Green dots. I'm gonna have to cheat and look it up.
Oh, don't worry, I can look it up.
Isn't it any other route?
Any other route?
Not to worry, I can look it up. It's not one I'm familiar with.
I know. I do know. I have seen them. I'm gonna look for you now because.
Don't worry. I can look. It's fine.
I thought it was like a general byway for everything.
No, it's not a byway.
1 in 25,000 symbols. There we go. That's the one. I have these as handouts. That this definitely worth printing one of. Oh, it's not this one. Slightly different. This isn't the one I'm thinking of, but it should be on here.
Don't worry, I've downloaded the ones.
There we go. Other routes with public access. So it's not a footpath, it's not a bridleway, but it has got a public access.
Yeah, permissible or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But it's definitely worth printing off the symbol thing. Not that, I mean, in a trek competition, it doesn't really matter because you could actually end up riding on a footpath if the organisers got permission for people to ride on a footpath. So if you're in a trek competition and the route goes down a footpath, you ride that route because they will have got permission to ride it.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So thank you for all the questions. That has been really, really,
Thank you.
really good from my
Thank
perspective.
you.
Thank
So
you. It's
have
brilliant.
a go. If you've not already done, have a go at the maps. I'll fix that one that's on the learning zone, so it's got both maps, so you can download and have another go at practice with different pens, practice different styles with your dotted line or just arrows. There are other, in the learning zone, there's a level 1 and a level 2 route. What I will do over the next few days,
She wants to lick your plate,
is I'll upload the PDF files to those, and then you can download them and do them. And I am working on the next route, which will probably be a 2A, and I'll be sharing that on the learning zone, so you can jump in at any time. So I've got the 2 dates for March. Drop me a line if you've got any special requests, and I'll put a message out on Facebook and email for voting for any specifics. But I'm guessing it might be useful because we're now going to start getting into competition mode to just keep copying our new routes each time. Okay.
Thank you, Julia.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank
See you
you.
soon. Bye.
Bye. Thanks,
Bye.
Julia. Thank you
Bye.
so much. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
That was really helpful.